Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mary Jean S. Rodriguez,
I am Jaris M. Navales.
and we are about to present our group report involving the gender and society, specifically in Module 1. So first, what is gender and society? So gender and society explains the various roles of gender in a society, and existing norms affect on how different genders are treated. So I believe that this course will taught me the relationship between the gender and society, like how gender affects society and how society affects the gender. So I am here in front of you to actually answer the 5 questions given and discuss it to you. So the first question is, what are the differences between sex and gender? So first we have sex. So sex is refers to a biological and psychological characteristics. It is related to your genitalia, which is generally categorized as male or female, depending on whether you are born with a vagina or penis. While gender refers to socially constructed set of roles, responsibilities, behaviors, expressions, and associated with being girl and a boy, women and men, and gender diverse people. So basically, sex is actually biological and physiological characteristics, including genetic, anatomy, physiology that generally defines human as male or female. So an example of sex is that women can breastfeed while men don't. Another example is that women can menstruate while men don't. So in the other hand, gender refers to a socially constructed set of roles, behaviors, characteristics, activities, and responsibilities with being a girl or a boy. So an example of gender is both women and men can do a housework. So that was the differences between sex and gender. So let us move on now to the second question. So the second question is, what are the differences between gender equality and gender equity? So first we have gender equality. So gender equality refers or defined to as the state or condition that affords women and men equal enjoyment of human rights, socially valued goods, allowing both sexes have the same potential to contribute to benefit from all spheres of society, like economic, political, social, and cultural society. So while the gender equality refers to the justice and fairness in the treatment of women and men in order to eventually achieve gender equality. So gender equity acknowledges that women and people of color are not in the same starting position as men. So basically, the gender equality refers or defined as the state or condition that affords both women and men an equal enjoyment of being of an equal enjoyment of human rights. So for example, I actually prepared one example. It is a situation example for gender equality. So first example is that there is this family that has limited funds, and both a daughter and the son needs a new pair of shoes for the incoming school year. But only one of them can get a new school shoes for this year. So what a family or a partner or a parents discuss plans which among them can get a one pair of shoes that depends on or based on the child's needs but not on the child's sex. So that was an example of the gender equality. It was based on the child's sex but depends on the child's needs. So in the other hand, we have the gender equity. So gender equity in order to both eventually achieve gender equality. So we have here the third question, which is what is the difference between transgender and transsexual? So transgender, we have transgender refers to those people who live permanently in their preferred gender without necessarily needing to undergo any medical interventions. We have transsexual refers to people who identifies entirely with the gender role opposite to the sex assigned at birth and seeks to live permanently in the preferred gender role. Transsexual people may intend to undergo or undergone gender reassignment treatment. So again, the difference between transgender and transsexual is that the transgender are refers or define those trans people who permanently live in their preferred gender. Or I can say those people who are consistent in their preferred gender. While the transsexual are also refers to those people who are inconsistent in their preferred gender. And usually those transsexual people are actually might seeking for surgical procedure or surgical treatment. So we just have to remember, we just have to always remember that both transsexual and transgender are people that are worthy of love, acceptance, safety, and respect, just like everyone else. So in continuation, may I call on Ms. Joris Navales for question number 4 and number 5.
So for the question number 4, why is there gender inequality? So gender inequality is the social phenomenon in which people are not equally treated. This inequality can be caused by gender discrimination when people are not treated equally based on their gender. This is known as gender inequality. Gender prejudice or sexism may be the root of this imbalance. Difference in biology, psychology, or societal cultural standards could be to blame for that entirely. So here in the Philippines, most of the people are the religious person. So some of the religion does not apply the gender equality. So most of us are the religious people. So we think that only boys and girls are accepted in heaven due to the teachings in the Bible. So these are the reason why there is gender inequality. So let's move on to question number 5. So pick 5 words from the topic, other gender terms, and discuss your own understanding on it. So first is the feminism, the belief in social, economical, and political equality of the sexes. So in order to empower women to practice or exercise their full rights, it is important to accept the different experiences, identities, and expertise in the strength of the women. It's about ensuring that different women and girls have access to the same chances as boys. And it advocates for equal rights and opportunities for women. So second is the gender balance. The situation where males and females have equal opportunities in society, religion, and economy. So it is important for us to recognize that women and men have valuable contributions to make in all areas of life and not to limit their actions. So it also aids in challenging and dismantling gender stereotypes and biases that may restrict people's actions or options. So third is the gender awareness. The awareness of the differences of role and relations between women and men. So gender awareness is the capacity to grasp how genders and roles have affected women's demand in relations to men's wants. So we have to also gender sensitivity. So to seek growth through gender equality, inclusion, and respect for all individuals so that society can work to create a world more equitable and just place for everyone. So fourth is the gender blind, ignoring to address the gender dimension. So gender blindness describes the practice of ignoring differences between genders, including historical differences in the treatment of various genders. When somebody chooses not to see gender and the differences between gender blindness could be a worldview or a description. So fifth is the gender rule, the sets of behavior rules and responsibilities for a man and women. So gender roles in the society means how we're expected to act, speak, dress, groom, and conduct ourselves based on our assigned sex. So for example, girls and women are generally expected to dress in typically feminine